Hey, what's up everyone? Victor here with Canine Peak Solutions, giving you guys another video. And right now I'm just hanging out working on a little bit of place with Lola, so you guys can check her out. Say hi, Lola. Hey, mama. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is how to deal with some puppy issues. All right, a lot of you guys been hitting me up and asking me questions, emails, comments, things like that about your dog going potty in the house and having a puppy and nipping and chewing and a bunch of other things. So I'm going to talk about puppies specifically in this video, and this stuff will definitely help with older dogs as well. All right, so utilize this information and it'll help you with a lot of issues that you're dealing with right now. Okay, so first thing to understand when it comes to puppies is potty training. All right, when it comes to potty training is more than just taking the dog outside to a certain spot and telling them to go potty and waiting 20, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever the case is, for the dog to go potty. All right, that's probably the least advice that you can do. All right, doesn't help at all. All it is just wasting your time. All it is just frustrating you, and all it's doing is just letting the dog kind of do what they want and not really potty train the dog. When it comes to potty training, the most important thing to understand is there's two factors of it. Teaching the dog when to go potty, which everybody is great at because everyone loves to take their dog outside over and over and over and sit out there for 20 minutes, which you don't need to do. That's part of it, but most people miss the second equation, miss the second side of it, and that is teaching the dog when not to go potty. Very, very important. Okay, so how can a dog go potty if they think they shouldn't go potty, right? That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what we want to teach the dog, and that's how you attack potty training. Okay, so I'll be more specific. Let me talk about it. Okay, so if I have a brand new puppy, let's say 8 weeks old is usually the earliest you want to take a dog away from their litter. So we'll say 10 weeks old, 10 weeks old or 12 weeks old, right? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into a crate. I'm going to crate train them. All right. The reason why I'm going to put them in a crate, the reason why I'm going to crate train them is because I need them to be comfortable inside of a crate. I cannot watch a dog 24/7 all the time, every single second of the day, and try to prevent them from getting into trouble. I just can't do it. We have schedules, we have lives, we have other responsibilities, we have other things going on. So utilizing a crate to help you with this issue is much needed. It's very much needed, and I'll explain more. Where if you're not home and the dog is running loose around the house, or let's say, you even put them into just the kitchen and you cut the kitchen off, and, you have them sit there and roam around and do whatever they want while you're not home, the likelihood of the dog going potty in the kitchen or wherever they're at is very, very high, because they're going to sniff around, they're going to get into stuff, they're going to lift their leg and pee, and they're going to squat and pee, whatever it is, and, that's not what we want. We won't want dogs going potty in the house, we want dogs going potty outside. So utilizing a crate helps with this, because one thing about dogs are very, very clean. Most animals are very, very clean, okay? So we need to use that to help us. We need to use that to our advantage. So when we're putting a dog into a crate and we get the right size crate, something that's not too big, then what ends up happening is when the dog's in there, they don't tend to go potty. Now, don't get me wrong. If we keep them in there for a long period of time or extended period of time, and way past what they can hold their bladder for, then obviously they're gonna go potty in the crate, and then that's a different issue, because then you could teach your dog to become a nasty dog, teach your dog to be comfortable in their feces and pee, and you definitely don't want that, because that's like one of the worst things that you can have on your hands, is have a dog that just doesn't care where they go potty, and they don't care if they're in it. Because then you struggle. You struggle mightily with that, and you don't want that. So you have to be very, very careful with putting your dog in a crate and leaving them in there too long when they're very, very young and their bladder hasn't developed. Okay, so going back to it, we want to use that to our advantage, because dogs, again, don't like to go potty in their or stand or walk in their feces. They don't like to go be in the presence of their pee or anything like that. That's why, if you notice, when you have a dog that goes potty inside the house, and when they're going potty inside the house, it's probably they tuck it in the corner, they tuck it behind the couch, or they do it in the hallway, or they do it really weird places where most people aren't, or most people like don't spend time, and that's why they do it there. They do it there out of respect for their owners. They do it out of respect for the family and for themselves as well. So because if you think about the places that the dog has gone potty, how often is someone just standing there in that present moment, not in the present moment, but in that actual location for an extended period of time, versus like if you're in the living room and you're sitting on a couch, right where you're at, that dogs don't tend to go potty there. They tend to go potty, again, in locations where a lot of people aren't and there's not a lot of traffic in that area, because in a dog's mind, they're like, well, I'm gonna go do it over here because I know mom's always sitting right here and I don't want her to be near where I go potty, right? So that's why they kind of tuck it away. And we're thinking they're being bad. They're actually trying to do what's good and what's right. It's just they don't understand, and we don't understand. So when you have two species, completely different species, right, that don't know how to communicate with one another, don't understand what's going on, then you run into problems like that. Okay, so let me kind of get back on track with it. So yeah, crating is huge. You have to get a dog crated. You have to start doing that process. Now, when you go home or when you leave home, the dog's in the crate. All right, when you don't have the time to supervise a dog, more than about 80%, dogs should be in the crate. Utilizing a leash to, help you prevent the dog from going into certain locations in the home will definitely help you as well when they are actually loose and they're out and you are managing, you are monitoring, which is very, very important. So in essence, the dog is going to spend tons of time in the crate, a lot of time in the crate. Okay, now putting the dog on a potty training schedule is much needed as well. When I talk about that, what that just means is dog in the crate, dog goes out to potty, you take the dog off to potty. Maybe 5 minutes is all you need. Just like us, if we have to go potty, we're gonna go potty. If you walk in front of a toilet and you need to go potty, your body's just kind of naturally gonna go because you trained it, but also that urge is there. And it's the same thing with dogs. The urge doesn't come 30 minutes after you've been outside. The urge comes when you give them that opportunity to go potty. All right, so you just take them outside. You say go potty, and if you want to check out another video that I have teaching how to teach a dog to go potty on command, that's a little bit different than what we're discussing right now. You can check that out somewhere over here. You tell them to go potty, and they'll go potty, within a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, within 5 minutes time. You don't have to be out there long. And if they go, great. You can give them a treat. Don't overly excite them. Don't overly, praise them too much, especially in that actual moment of them going potty, because it can break their concentration from urinating or pooping or whatever, and do it prematurely, and they don't finish, and then they're wanting to play with you, and then they're not releasing their whole bladder. Okay, so that's something to take note of as well. Once you do that, you bring the dog back inside, and that can be an opportunity for you to have the dog loose around the house with you managing and monitoring heavily. And you can play with them. You can do some formal training, teaching sit, teaching down, whatever it is that you would like to do. And then after that, you put the dog back into the crate. Okay. The 3 main times that dogs usually have to go potty is after they play. Okay, so if you're playing with them, then take them right back out before you put them back into the crate. Okay, whenever whenever they finish eating is another time, and then whenever they wake up. Those are the 3 main times where dogs usually have to go potty. All right, once you take the dog back in from going outside and going potty, then again you can, like I mentioned, you can play with them. You can do whatever. You can do some training with them. You can have them loose around the house a little bit. Whatever it is that you want to do, and then right before you put them back into the crate, you have them go out potty again, all right? Especially if they just finished eating or they just finished playing, all right? And then you shove them back into the crate and you wait maybe about a couple hours or so, and you do that same process again. And the younger the dog, the more often you have to do this, because their bladder isn't developed. They're smaller, things like that are, you have to take note of. So in order to do this, you have to kind of calculate how many hours the dog can hold their bladder. And one way to do that is if you add 1 to the number of months the dog is. So if the dog is 8 weeks old, that's 2 months. That means they can probably hold their bladder for about 3 hours, And this is just a general rule of thumb. This is, it may be different. Your dog may be different, It just kind of depends on the dog. But this is just a good kind of like estimate that you kind of, or guesstimate that you can utilize when you're trying to figure this stuff out and tailor your schedule to these numbers and adjust them if you need them. If you're finding that the dog has to go more often, then you just maybe take an hour away, maybe take a half hour away. You can absolutely do that. Okay, so You'll take the dog out every, 2-3 hours if that age. If they're 5 months, then 6 months, 6 hours is usually okay. 8 hours is usually the number cap that you want to be able to kind of like at that point at least give your dog a potty break after 8 hours for sure, or around 8 hours. Okay, it gets kind of long after that. All right. Now I have clients that work 12 hours, 10 hours a day, and they have their dogs and they're crated that entire time, but they engage heavily with their dogs once they go home from work, and they get into their routine. Okay, so yeah, and that's pretty much the routine. And through the night, this is something that's important too, you may need to wake up. Or you have to wake up in the middle of the night. It sucks, but you would do it for a baby if you have a baby. Okay, so you have to do the same thing for your dog, or you're gonna have issues with potty training. You're gonna have issues, especially if you're doing this processing, you're utilizing the crate the way you need to, and the dog's constantly going poop and pee in there. Trust me, you don't want it, because when the dog is comfortable going poop and pee in there, then it's like you're never really gonna potty train a dog. It's really, really, really difficult to do that when you're dealing with that type of stuff. Okay, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you like it, be sure to hit the thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well, for the simple fact that every time I post a video, you're going to get a notification in your phone, and it's going to say, hey, Victor posted a video, and you can check out the latest information that's being out there. Okay, if you need more information, if you want to know more about me, be sure to hit the link in the description box as well, and I'll talk to you guys later with another video. Take care.